Hello and welcome back to the KCC channel. I'm Rob and I hope you're having a wonderful day today. Today we're jumping into some ProRevenge. However, today we're doing something a little bit different. I'd like to introduce to you my friend Austin from the Austin Analysis. He's going to be reading you a couple of stories today, and I implore you to go check out his channel, the Austin Analysis. He's reading Reddit stories over there with a lot of personality. Check him out at the link at the top of the description down below. Alright Austin, what do you have for us today?
Thank you, Rob. My name is Austin, and let's dive right on in. The first story, Toyota Service Advisor works his bloody foot off, posted by the Dirt Dude 117. I worked at a Toyota service department for a few months, and it was terrible. But today was the worst day I have ever had at any dealership. The layout is really horrible. It's in South Carolina where it's 95 degrees Fahrenheit outside in February with 90% humidity. We don't have AC in the service drive, which is where I work and the customers arrive. They removed our desk fans since they looked bad and put one big fan in the center of the room. It doesn't help us at all, but it looks nice. We usually have 100 plus appointments a day split between 6 to 9 advisors depending on staff. We had 6 who knew what to do, and 3 newbies who were just learning the oil and 710 are the same fluid. If a customer comes in, we greet them, get the info from the car, and then figure out what their concern is. You also then try to sell them on stuff based off their past declined services and the pop-ups saying, add engine oil change to the plug-in electric-only car, so it's got issues. You need to get a customer in and out quick without issues and with the most stuff to get paid. I was hired by an old manager of mine at his new position when he saw on Facebook that me and my fiance moved back into town. We're paid off of labor hours sold, percent of parts profit we sell, bonuses for CSI, customer service, bonuses for selling the most of the monthly item like an air filter, battery, brakes, and so on, and no minimum pay. No hourly, daily, anything. Coming from my old job, with my numbers from there, I would be making twice as much. One of the conditions of my hire is I'm not to drive customers' cars as their insurance wouldn't cover me. During my first 2 weeks of learning on the job, their programs, my old manager gets an offer to move to another store and is replaced by this guy who was best to call Chad. Chad was this hotshot who was going to set us up to really be a top-tier service department and help us manage flow much better. Well, Chad came from a store who worked on R&R, which is basically Windows 1998 BC. He knew nothing about the programs we were using, or honestly what an emoji is. Wanting to help Chad out, I showed him some options for programs that would help us keep track of notes, reduce away time from desk for us, and also keep our technicians at their bay. He got us licensed to use them, and I set everything up. I set up our new programs and also started changing our old ones. I really wanted to make things easier day to day. I hated wasting paper and walking to parts to tell them something or to ask my technician for an update. One of the programs was a flagging system showing just profiles you are assigned or create. Certain flags show priority and so on, and you can see all notes on all cars, message parts, and flag to your parts person. Instead of having to type, customer state, vehicle is vibrating at speeds of 45 miles per hour and above, please inspect. Then a new line, customer request oil change. A new line, customer would like vacuum but no wash, and so on. I made it so we could click vibration, front left, 45 miles per hour, LOF, suck no wash, and it would automatically add the text and print with the correct part numbers for oil filters, write the oil spec and capacity, and everything out nicely. I did this for about everything I could think of and kept adding more and more. I had it auto-send just part numbers, ticket info, and book lines for internal, customer, warranty, and extended warranty out correctly to save time for everyone. I made sure that current recalls would also always print based off VIN so they weren't forgotten. I also made sure our loaner vehicles could be checked in or out easier and being able to have instant access to all of the past agreements if something is found in the car or damage is found. These are just some examples, but I basically just copied my profile with permissions for my boss and showed him how to give it to other people. Skip 6 months, no raise, no uniform I was supposed to be provided, and coming in on my days off to help with the programs. It's Monday, and this week I had a nail go straight through my foot at work. I Ubered to the hospital down the road, making sure to not remove the nail. I got it bandaged up, but still going in every day for my 12 plus hour shifts and walking around all day. From my desk, it's probably 100 yards to the car wash, 40 yards to the shop, and so on, because people still don't always use the system and porters aren't bringing cars up. I'm not insured by them, but I still have customers asking politely, "Where the heck is my Prius? I was here for 26 minutes." So I hobble down to the car wash where it most likely is and drive it through and up. My team for Saturday, 4 people, had one person quit on Wednesday and one person had a funeral to leave early for. The other guy was new, so he was slow to get stuff done. My boss says he'll come in and help. Wednesday, we lock it at 60 appointments since we have short staff up front and back. Saturdays are half technicians and no diag days. We do take walk-ins too. Thursday, it's at 80, and we tell our boss to lock it. Again, on Friday before closing, we see 110 appointments. He never locked it and took Friday off. Come Saturday morning, we had 130 appointments from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. I'm having to walk around a lot and ended up bleeding through 3 pairs of socks and bandages that I swapped out. I had to chase down about 80% of our customers' cars because our porters that showed up were goofing off. I had 53 open tickets at 12 p.m. We had a 4-hour wait for walk-ins and 2 with appointments. Usually, it would take us 30 minutes for an oil change, from ticket printed to customer paying, just for reference. I haven't had lunch or a snack since they banned food and drinks at our desks. My friend is about to leave for the funeral, so I cover his remaining tickets, telling him not to worry about me. Then my boss leaves for lunch, throwing his 20-ish tickets on my desk. So now I'm 110 tickets deep, helping the new guy with stuff, moving cars, and trying not to pass out. Oh, and it's 95 degrees outside, no AC in our covered area, not inside, and 90% humidity? We didn't even get a breeze. I would stop by the water fountain near the car wash and dream about running through with the windows down and my mouth open to cool off. It gets to 3 p.m. and I'm rescheduling people who come in. I'm trying to get everyone out when their cars are done, but I have to limp them down to pull them in front to leave after they pay. My boss still isn't back and the new guy quits. He wasn't doing much, but it's his first week and today sucks. I end up getting in one car and blood from my sock and shoe drips onto our paper mats in the car. I cleaned everything out, vacuumed the car, washed it, and pulled it up. Customer went ape that she saw blood on the disposable paper mat, about the weight, not getting a discount for her non-appointment service, and demanded to speak to my manager. That was it, because I wanted to talk to him too. I called him up and was sent to voicemail. I explained it to his mailbox and also texted him a brief summary. I then called the GM to explain that I have been alone for about 3 hours dealing with an uncapped amount of customers, 5 technicians walked out, and I'm still not recovered from my workplace injury, and that I'm finishing my paperwork to take my lunch break at 4 p.m. with at least 50 customers still waiting. Boss shows up when I'm about to leave to eat my lunch that I brought, knowing their provided lunch would be gone before I could set my bloody foot in the break room. He told me that in our state, I'm not legally allowed a lunch break during a shift, and I have to stay to finish out the customers on my tickets. It's after our regular hours at this point. I mentioned being here since 6 a.m. to open the shop and pre-printing everything, saying that I just need to relax. And he said, "You didn't even clock in this morning, so unless you do what I say, you aren't getting paid." Once again, I'm paid commission here and percent of parts profit for stuff sold. I don't even get 1 cent an hour. So I walked to my station, removed all of everyone's login copies of my permissions, deleted all of my notes, deleted all of my warranty macros, I set all the spreadsheets, and reset every custom line I added to our programs. Since I was the original profile, this reset everything for everyone. When I walked out and got a call when I got to my car asking, "Why isn't your login able to collect credit cards?" Sounds like a problem, good luck with that. I've never taken ecstasy, but that drive home was about what I would imagine it as. To make things better, I had 2 cars there, so I had to go back to pick one up while my fiance is saying how I should burn the place to the ground and how happy she is that I won't be working for Chad anymore. We see that the lights are still on for my GM's office and the service department, with both of them there. I got in my car, wanted to do a huge burnout, but I got a phone call. My GM asked me to come back at a pay raise and less hours, but I knew it was BS. He wanted to know what went wrong with that day and if I would come inside to discuss it with Chad and him. I just hung up and went home. Chad ended up getting let go the following month since he couldn't get things back up to speed. My good friend ended up getting moved to service manager for a bit and then ultimately moved to Mercedes as a parts person, now director. I ended up going to BMW for a bit after that and got promoted past Chad's position. Man, if there's one thing that's sweet justice in this world, it's when an overworked, underpaid, and underappreciated worker gets pro-revenge on a corrupt and dirty boss. OP, way to stand up for yourself and get that pro-revenge. Don't mess with Real Big Toby, posted by a deleted account. It's been long enough and I doubt they're going to come after me, so here goes. I adopted a full-bred husky in the Pacific Northwest. We named him Toby, but after a while, he developed the nickname Real Big Toby. He wasn't a huge husky or Malamute, but boy did he look beautiful and boy was his personality real big. He had one blue eye and one brown eye, which never failed to trip people out. On top of that, he was a huge ham, loved attention, and would actually talk to you about how his day was going. It got to the point where it was kind of stupid to put him on a leash. I would tell him to stay when I went to class, for example, and he'd be passed out or getting the chicks to scratch his belly when I came out, every time. The dean of the college even knew him on a first-name basis and started to bring his dog into work after watching Real Big Toby do his thing. At the time, I lived in a mountain town, attended college, and was an avid mountain biker, so having a dog that would happily and easily do 30 miles in a day was cool. He would follow us everywhere we went. My mountain bike was my only source of transportation, so we became very in tune with one another. He was a husky after all, so you could tell when he ran that this was exactly what he was born to do. Toby was such a super good boy. He listened, paid attention, and never left my side. He had a seat designated for him on the deck at the local coffee shop, which meant you had to walk by him and try to resist giving him a scratch if you wanted to go inside. It got to the point where just about everyone in this fairly small town got to know Toby on a first-name basis. Every once in a while on mountain bike runs, we would get separated or Toby would just get sidetracked on the way down the hill. It was such a small town that, in the few times it happened, he was back with me by the end of the day. The police all knew him from around town, the pound knew him, so if anyone called, they just give them my number. One day, it happened again. He got lost on the way down the hill, only this time, he didn't come back. No call. Nothing for days. It got to the point where I started asking around town. If you've ever lived in a small town, you know, it's hard to keep a secret. After about a week, a friend says he saw Toby and tracked the guy down and gave him my number. He never called. After searching, trying to find this guy, I finally got a breakthrough. He worked at the college. Now, I am aware how stupid people can be when they receive an animal. Toby was ripped. You could see his muscles bulging out of his fur. He didn't have an ounce of fat on him because, you guessed it, he was in excellent shape. I fed him mostly a raw diet, and what kibble he did get was the best you could buy. The first thing out of this guy's mouth was to tell me that he's keeping my dog. You don't take care of him, you don't even feed him, and he's such a good dog. He'll be better off with me, he said. I became enraged. Well, like I mentioned, he worked at the school I attended. I also mentioned that the dean hammed it up with Toby on a nearly daily basis. I didn't mention that I had the dean's home number. So a call Saturday morning resulted in Toby being returned to me later that day. This guy had the nerve to, along with Toby, bring me a 50-pound bag of the crappiest store-brand dog food you could buy. I bought this so you could feed him. Rage. Come to find out, this guy was in charge of a research project for the school. It was very easy to figure out where his office was. I went to his office with the plan of returning his food and chewing him out in front of his colleagues. He wasn't at his desk, so I did the most natural thing I could possibly do. I turned the 50-pound bag of dog food upside down on his desk, computer, stacks of papers, to the point where it formed a perfect mountain on top of his keyboard. Truly an awesome sight. Knowing loose lips sink ships, I didn't tell anyone but my close friends. The school brought misconduct charges against me. The hearing was in front of a board of other students and staff, and well, I don't know what happened to the bag of dog food. I was telling the story to a bunch of guys and one of them asked me for the bag. That's the last I saw it. All charges were dropped. That a-hole that tried to steal Real Big Toby had it much, much worse. 50 pounds of dog food on top of your research project, as it turns out, doesn't bode well with management. For reasons unknown, 2 days later, he was fired from the college. Not only did they fire him, but put a restraining order on him and had to change the locks to the building. Don't mess with Real Big Toby. Oh man, they say a dog is a man's best friend, and right here we know how much real big Toby meant to OP. That dog was family at this point, and you don't mess with that when it means so much to someone. OP, way to go. Give real big Toby some pats and a nice big Scooby snack from me. Way to go, OP.
So what did y'all think of Austin from the Austin Analysis? Head on over to his channel and give him a subscription. He's linked at the top of the description down below. As always, check out both OPs linked in the description down below as well. I thank you for watching, hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.